We're back with episode 52 of the virtuallylost podcast. As always, my name is Robert, and I'm joined by my co-host Julian. How things going?
Oh man, dude, eBay has been killing me lately. I've wanted to buy so much shit on eBay. I like eBay now. eBay's been my place for a little while now because you can't buy classic games on Amazon. It's like they don't sell them.
You know? Oh yeah, or it's so rare that it's upcharge out the ass.
It's like exactly. So eBay's like the only place you can really get them. I need a StockX, but for like classic games. That'd be top tier. That'd be top tier.
Speaking of StockX, my friend recently asked me to help him decide on some shoes, so I had to go in through the small repository of knowledge I have on shoes, and help him out because he kind of like wanted shoes that can also be used with like semi-formal stuff. So definitely wanted like black is the color.
Oh, okay.
Like, that limits some shoes. Yeah. I didn't want him to go with like pandas.
Right. Dude, I actually really want to get Jordan. I think they're 11s. They're like the Space Jam ones, but not necessarily the Space Jam colorway because that one's expensive. But that like model, that Jordan model is like really good. I want to get some.
We end up deciding on Jordan 5 Moonlights was the one he'd go with.
I'll pull it up.
I asked him to let me know how they are because I would consider getting a pair of Jordan 5s if they are comfy in the future.
Interesting. I see. Those are pretty sick. Yeah.
But damn, some of those shoes ridiculously priced. Yeah. It's like $400 or $500. There's some that like we won't even talk about going to the thousands, and it's just
that's what you're talking about, like Red Octobers and stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're going into that price range.
You're one of the people who like this is before I even hung out with you, but we both entered the raffle for back in high school for the Nike MagSafe, the Back to the Future
Air Max. That was in college. That was first year of college.
Really? I'm pretty sure I
remember it's because you might have signed up for the other one because there was 2.
Oh, okay.
So it might have been the other one that you were thinking of.
Yeah, I think it was the first entrance
because they did it in 2016.
Yes, that would be during that time.
Yeah. So I remember very clearly because I wanted them really bad, which is funny because I don't think I've seen anybody even wear those. Like, they're so expensive that it's like, how are you gonna actually wear them? That'd be stupid, but whatever. I wanted them really bad. It's come across my mind to buy the ones from like the ones with the earlier model that are cheaper, but like I'm not that dumb. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. So they're still at like a K.
Yeah,
like you know,
there's some shoes that I would probably buy for like $350.
Yeah,
but I've somehow been able to hold the urge on it because I have shoes already that are similar colors. So I'm like, am I really gonna use these?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I still want to get my first Jordans. I still haven't had my first Jordans, so I think that's my next thing. I'm honestly, I'm cool with it because I've used my shoes till they're dead. Like most of my shoes are dead. So I need to buy a whole new wardrobe because I've had the same clothes since like third year of college.
Yeah, there's some shirts and stuff that have lasted me way too long.
And I
definitely have to get retired.
Yeah, I'm at that point where it's like, okay, decisions need to be made now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
For esports or like news for this week that we saw, I'd say probably the biggest piece was Sykkuno going for the exclusive, swapping on the exclusive YouTube deal.
Right. And I saw something, I'm not sure if it's 100%, but I saw it on Twitter, where like one of the things that made him decide to switch was that they spelled his name wrong on
Sykkuno. They put Sykkuno on a formal email to him.
That's funny. I mean, it does. Yeah.
It's Twitch
sends a message.
fumbling the bag in terms of how they handle their relationships with content creators.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the big reasons Ludwig said was that
because
they were more negotiable with the deals. They actually felt like they cared about the content he makes, and also when in terms of negotiations, he doesn't have to stream the same amount of hours, and he's actually able to do a lot more creative pieces that do a lot more planning.
Right. That's interesting. Which they did. I mean, did you see his poker tournament like a
Yeah,
couple days ago? That one was pretty. I actually, I enjoy watching poker, but I can't play. I need to learn how to play it. I need to learn how
Mhm.
to, you know.
That's why I want to play roulette,
Yeah.
because you know
Because
you turn
you
off the
just
brain and see the ball spin.
yeah. There you go.
Mhm.
There you go. Oh
Yeah,
man.
a few drinks in, my brain ain't fully there. I'm there to
Yeah.
enjoy myself. But
Exactly.
yeah, there
Exactly.
was also news of like other big name streamers are probably also gonna make the shift towards YouTube.
Yeah, I've heard that. There was like a couple prominent
Mhm.
ones. Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because last
Interesting.
week we talked about the fact that Twitch is opening up the co-streaming, or
Hmm.
like you could stream on both Twitch and YouTube, and then now they're getting a bunch of the people who are going to be there, or who were their big names, are going to be exclusively streaming on YouTube now.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Let's see. I'll see. We'll see how the competition,
yeah,
ends up going.
and then
It's
they
pretty interesting.
also,
It's pretty, but we're gonna have to wait a little while for
oh
to really
yeah,
see the effects.
they also, YouTube also added a like a raid function as
Oh
of
yeah, I
recent.
saw that. Yeah, like that was like today or yesterday or something like that,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, very recent. But
So I
yeah.
expect like the big creators to be more open to switching YouTube TV, but I think like smaller partners and most people who do stream won't ever make the switch because you've kind of already
Yeah, made a
developed
community. Yeah.
a community, and not everyone wants to make the switch. So I
Hmm.
think in your the growth phase, a lot of people aren't gonna swap over.
Hmm.
But like the big names are gonna be the ones that, like, the names that create news are going to be the
Right.
ones that swap to YouTube.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
I could see that happening for sure. Which is interesting
Yeah.
because like does those people leave space for new creators to kind of take over that kind of audience that's still left on Twitch, or
Mhm.
what happens there? Or does Twitch just slowly die? I don't know.
Yeah. Does Twitch
That's
learn
like
how to send emails to their high partners?
yeah, it's funny to me because I mean like that's what brings people to Twitch, right? I mean it's those big creators that bring people to Twitch. I don't see why they wouldn't be more careful because it seems like they're
Yeah.
doing the same thing for multiple creators.
Yeah. For the most
They
part,
like, oh
it's
yeah.
the big names. Like, for a reason for people to watch Twitch is you go for a big name you hear about, you go to an event, or someone in your real life who does stream and you check them out. And that's kind of
Hmm.
like the most common ways I'd say people get into viewing Twitch. Or yeah,
Yeah.
event, I'd say, like an esports event or something along
Hmm.
those lines.
Hmm.
But I don't know, Twitch fumbling.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like the leadership I don't know, just doesn't care, or I don't know. They just think they're too big to fail, or I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So, I mean, I've heard a lot of talk about how like YouTube or Twitch leadership is like very much not in the community or whatever. It doesn't have much, like, doesn't know much about the community. So could that be
Yeah.
affecting? They don't know how to like the community really works, or like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of the old names in Twitch and like how the company culture used to be before it got taken or bought out by Amazon,
Hmm.
became part of that structure. It
Right.
definitely changed the company culture because it's like you think of course, we'll name drop the man himself, Atrioc.
Glizzy hands.
DJ
Yes.
DJ Wheat left, who is a
Yeah.
very big person in terms
Hmm.
of community involvement,
Hmm.
and so it's definitely more. Yeah, I agree. It's on the like more the Corpa end now.
Yeah. The corp. Yes. Actually. Um, yeah. But it's
Mhm.
only time will tell, I guess.
Mhm. But I did like one thing I do like about Twitch though, because I was
Mhm.
watching Apex because it was
Right.
the playoff split, or there was the split playoffs in Sweden that had players and teams from multiple regions play. There's a cool command because it's a battle royale where it can get, from a viewer perspective, it can be a lot if the camera's constantly swapping between teams. So there is a in-app or in-browser tool called Command Center where you can just watch one team exclusively.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was doing that. I was watching the main feed, which is the one with the casters swapping feeds. I
Right.
had one of the map, and that had, or the full view of the map that had the rotations of everyone and like what zones would be. There's also a stats screen, which was really cool. And then I was watching a team that kind of I swapped around every once in a while because I didn't really have a team I was going for, but it was
Right.
just interesting because you also hear their comms and stuff, and some of them are it's a bit hectic. It's funny when I think of it because like League com or when you watch League esports, it's very formal. Like they when they do cuts of like in team comms, it's always
Right.
they always clear it to make sure cussing and there's no cussing and everything. But Apex, they're just like let's get a look into TSM, and then it's just cussing at each it's just cussing at each other. It's funny. There's like there's no
That's funny.
filter on the comms.
Yeah. I marked them. Can't you see? You mother. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, what else has been going on? In the gaming industry, there's been a big news about Square Enix selling off its Western studios. So like I think it's all the studios that are in Japan, basically, right?
They're not all of them, not all of them. They
Okay, not
still
all of them.
have some of them. I believe they still have some of the studios like that were involved in like Detroit Become Human and a few other
Okay.
games.
Okay. Yeah.
But they sold off I think 3 big ones.
Yeah.
And
Mainly the ones that take care of Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, and Legacy of Kain. So, and I think they also in part of that deal was also the IP rights, right?
yeah, the
Yeah,
IP rights went to them or went to
or
Embracer Group.
stayed with the company, right? Or to with Embracer Group.
Yeah, they went to Embracer Group. So now Square Enix doesn't own Tomb Raider or
Right.
the other ones.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
never
Right.
played a Tomb Raider game, which is actually very shocking to me now thinking about
The new Tomb Raider I played, I think the first new one, and it was pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it.
it.
It's one of the few games I actually finished. um, Deus Ex is a big one. That's like a lot of people really like that series, but it's like a little harder. It's a little, it's good. I've heard it's good, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I haven't played it.
But
Thief is interesting. Thief was an interesting game.
oh, you actually know
Um,
what Thief is? I've
yeah,
never
Thief
heard of it.
is a one of the like big stealth games from it's like the early 2000s. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's I think it's because it was like the origin point of like another game that I really like. I forget which one, but yeah, Thief is an interesting game. Oh, it was I think it was Deathloop. I think was made by the people that made Thief.
Oh, really?
I think,
That's interesting.
or like it was like similar staff or something like that.
I didn't know who they were selling it to, like
Oh
Embracer
no,
Group,
that's
but
Dishonored.
then
That's Dishonored. My bad.
Dishonored.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But Embracer is a publishing group, and then
Hmm.
they operate with Gearbox, or the ones who make
Okay.
Borderlands
Yeah.
and a few other studios. But when I saw it was like Gearbox, and I've actually played the Borderlands games, it's like, oh, okay, this is actually a bigger name publisher than I initially
Yeah.
thought for a second.
Yeah. It's probably
It's kind
yeah.
of
It's like one of those groups that like don't really advertise their name too much, but like it's like their studios are well known. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Interesting moves. I'm not sure what that exactly means. I don't know if uh I mean like Square Enix was getting pretty big, so I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
kind of it can make sense. Some so they can be fine with letting some IPs go, and I
Hmm.
feel like you know I actually don't know what I feel like.
I guess only time will tell. Wasn't Square Enix in talks to get bought out by like is it like Microsoft or Sony or something?
Ooh, I don't know.
I feel like I heard that not too long ago. Like
Something
since
about
or maybe since Microsoft was making so many big moves, like Sony was gonna pull the trigger and buy Square Enix or something like that.
hmm
Not sure. Hmm. I know I heard rumors about Square Enix,
yeah,
but we'll see.
yeah.
A lot of big business moves in the last like year
I
for
feel like
gaming.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a lot of just shifts. It's
yeah, a
like
lot of shifts. Right. I think obviously it's going to take like a couple of years maybe to see the effects of it really because we're going to have to see like how does it affect the games that come out or whatever, or what gets shelved or what gets
yeah,
brought back
I,
from the dead. I think there was a lot of people when this came out like asking for like um a certain series to get like brought back. So it's like we'll see
I
whether that happens or not.
mid
Uh,
2020s are going to be kind of wild because that's probably going to be when games fully realize Unreal Engine 5,
that dude, I'm excited for that for sure.
and then all the shifts that like we've mentioned over the last
Yeah.
year. it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun times for games. That's what I'd
Yeah,
say.
for sure. And it's already been like the last couple of years have been fun times for games. So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just gonna get kind of even wilder.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Personally, for games though, I've been
Mhm.
playing a lot of Triangle Strategy in
Oh, okay.
this
Some
weekend.
follow ups from last week. Let's see
Yeah.
what's going on. What you're thinking
So,
so far? So I've only played 2 hours, so don't spoil me. But
oh yeah,
in the time I've played, just small spoilers. I was surprised at how much story there was compared to other games of that genre that I played.
yes, I am
Yeah.
actually a really fan of this story, and I don't know
Mhm.
if you've realized or like used the feature yet, but you know how there's like notes information, and there's the first tab
Yes.
which is the roadmap, and
Mhm.
the one I really like that one because the roadmap really shows you where each of the choices you make, like
Mhm.
there's a branching storyline that you could have
Right.
gone here from that point.
Right.
And then I will say this game is really making me like doubt my decision. Like, damn, did I really make this right decision? Am I getting too greedy, trying to be like an idealist, or am I gonna get punished for this late
Yeah.
game? It's
Yeah.
actually a really good story from what I played so far.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited to
then,
play when I actually have time to play.
yeah, that'll ever
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
And
We'll
I think
see.
another thing that's like different from Fire Emblem, because like that's
Mhm.
probably the game
That's
it's
like
closest
yeah.
to
That you're
in
comparing it to.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there are set classes in this game where in Fire Emblem you can change characters'
Yeah.
classes and there's a little bit of leeway.
Mhm.
And I think that the set classes is really nice because depending on some of the maps I've seen and the enemies you face, the characters are. This isn't really spoilers because these are like side characters that you get. Like there's a characters that what's a juggler like a
Yeah, the gesture. Court
yeah.
gesture, you kind of.
And there's like some pretty unique and like far out classes. There's a apothecary, I think, that just their ability is basically throwing items at distance if they are intended to hit your team. The juggler throws items farther if they're meant to hit enemies. And like the classes are really niche, and depending on the maps, you really have to think on some of them because there are times I had to actually step off of the main story and just grind levels by doing the same mission over and over again
Oh, okay. Interesting. Hmm.
because it's been fun because
But it's still like fun to replay them, or is it?
I only
Has
had
it
to
gotten
replay them like 3 or 4 times, and
okay?
it's personally I could have probably beat it initially, but I'm someone who likes to level up and
Yeah,
then
you like to smash the,
and
the
then
actual
fight.
stories. Yeah.
And also a mechanic that I thought was really cool that
Uh-huh.
is different than Fire Emblem is bowman.
Mhm.
If let's say there's an enemy in front of you and you have a bowman 5 like blocks back, you cannot shoot a bow at that enemy if your partner is either directly in front of you or directly in front of the enemy, because it then
Yeah,
marks it
like
as that you
blocks
would
it.
hit your partner.
Right. Interesting. So it gets
So it
it more
actually,
like yeah, it makes more sense in the
mhm,
in universe. Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah. I've always said I really like those little details when they put stuff like that. It makes the game harder, but I mean, it's interesting. You have
yeah,
to really
it,
be strategic.
it's been difficult at points, but it's been really fun. I want
Yeah,
to continue playing it.
there you go. Also, another follow up. You said you told me that you've watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie recommended last year or last week.
Yes, some friends
What were your
recommended it to
thoughts?
me, and so I went in the theater, just watched it because I think my brother's busy during that time, so I just went in
Mhm.
solo. And I gotta say, it was like a top 5 movie. It's not based off a script, and I think it really, or like based off a book.
Oh yes, it's not adapted.
And yes, it's not adapted from a book, and I think it really shows because it seems like it was a
It's
film
always
made
intended
for
to be a
that.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, the film was made like with this medium in mind.
Right. Yeah, like the
And
visual medium. They
yeah,
really take advantage of the visuals.
and I gotta say though, don't watch it with kids. Don't watch it with kids because there are some adult themes in there at times. And I was next to a mom and her daughter who had to cover her eyes at times.
Yeah, though it's not. Is it rated R? I mean, I would.
Yes, I believe it is rated R.
Why are you
Mhm.
taking your kids to that? Anyway,
There's
but
dildos. I'll just say there's some dildos and there's some nudity with pixels over it at
No way.
times. Yes.
All right then.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you're
Some
into that.
some absolute comedy, but it doesn't actually take away from the seriousness of like some of the messages behind the film. It's
There
actually
you
really
go.
good. Mhm.
Awesome.
Highly recommend. Just not with the
Sounds
family.
good. No, just not with the family. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah. How about you? How's your week been, man?
Week's been good. Week's been good, just busy. Just I feel super boring right now because I'm just like focused on my projects at work, and it's like, all right, I go to work, I do my project, I come home, I do it again, do some more. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in
But
the
I'm in
final
the
mile.
I'm in the thick of it. I'm in the final sprint, so we'll see
Mm-hmm.
how long it takes me. Yeah, and then maybe I'll have more time to like do fun things
Hey, man. Maybe.
eventually.
Dude, I just randomly thought of it today,
Mhm.
but that trip to Santa Monica was literally so like lucky of the fact that that carnival was there. It was a fun trip in general.
Yeah, it would have been
And
pretty boring without that little carnival, or it wouldn't have been as memorable, maybe.
yeah,
If
I still would have. Actually, no, you freaking won in air hockey. I was gonna say, yeah,
I did destroy you in air hockey that day.
I'm at. We need to run back eventually.
I
But
think I made your hand bleed.
oh
You were holding it so hard that it would like
no,
bounce off.
you hit the puck and the puck hit my hand. Is what happened. I remember that. I
We
did
were
not grip
sweating.
this
It
shit
was hot that
symbol.
day, and we were sweating. We were playing air hockey, and we were
Yeah,
sweating.
it was heated at
It
the
was a
time for
heated
sure.
game. It was a heated game.
Mhm. Yep, I almost walked
Uh,
away with uh
it was,
with a mixtape.
mixtape. I'm sure we've talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah,
I feel
it was a
we had
podcast
to. Yeah,
episode. It
that
was a
was
fun it
too
was a fun
funny.
trip though.
That was a fun trip.
But
I
like
want to go do something again. I think once I'm done with my project, there's a lot of
mhm.
little trips I want to do. I still want to go to Six Flags. Yeah, that's where we're supposed to do that trip,
Yeah,
and
it
we didn't
was
get to do it.
yeah, it was literally just a last second
Last second change.
yeah, change.
Yeah, because like everybody bailed, and I was like, I still need to leave. I'm going. I'm going to Santa Monica. I'm going regardless of whether you want to go. I'm going. So if you want to go, let me know.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then I ended up seeing a brand that I really like, and so I was like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was really interesting. Things happen at times,
yeah,
like when you actually are out there in the
yeah.
real
In the
world.
real world. Yeah. Oh man. But I'm really like craving a trip out there, so I want to see if
out there in the real
out
world.
there in the real world. So we'll see once I have time to plan. I'll see what's going on. To make
Yeah,
some plans. See what happens. All right. Well, I think
bit of a
that's
shorter
a bit of
episode.
a short episode, but it's all right. Every once in a
Mm-hmm.
while, it's fine.
Yeah,
Well, that was episode 52
52.
of the Virtually Lost podcast. I'm Julian. This is Robert. We'll see you guys next time.